another book review, and we are going to be reviewing Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. Now, usually I don't do sequels, but I kind of don't count this one as a sequel, even though it is a sequel. It is a sequel of the Dreamland Billionaires series. The first one was a book I have already previously reviewed, titled The Fine Print, which was utterly amazing. I loved the whole Dreamland kind of being in a twisted way about Walt Disney World and all that fun stuff. But this one technically has nothing to do with Dreamland per se, or I guess you could say the whole... Well, it does. It doesn't. It's not as centered around it as Fine Print was, which I like. This one follows the oldest of the brothers of the series, Declan. At least that's how I say his name. And his assistant, secretary assistant, Iris. That's how I pronounce it when I read it. Basically, the story follows Declan as he basically tries to complete one of the wishes of his late grandfathers, which you learned in the first one. His late grandfather had wishes in regards to the brothers taking their portions of the Dreamland franchise company, or have you will. Like for and the other one, it was more of, basically trying to fix something in regards to Dreamland. This one is basically he had to get married, he had to have a kid, and be married to that person for, I believe, at least a year. The reason why he was given that specific task is because Declan is very hard to get along with. He's a bit of a brute, as I would put it. He's very grumpy. I mean, he's the older brother. So, as you can tell, considering the fact that they're, no spoiler, their father is basically just, kind of a unruly man, following the passing of their mother. So if you read the first one, which I hope you have and I hope you will, you kind of learned a lot of their family dynamic in the first one. So this one really focuses on Declan and his task at hand, which is basically finding a wife, getting married, having a baby. So right out of the gate, this one's, in my opinion, a bit thicker. This one has a bit more spice. I want to say it's kind of an enemies to lovers romance, even though they're not like exactly enemies because they've worked together for years, so they already have that kind of relationship. But it's beautiful to see how in this book, they tag team and they work together to accomplish so much. I love the fact that in this one you get more of both perspectives. I feel like you didn't get a lot of both of their perspectives in Fine Print. In this one, you get like a good portion of Declan's, get a good portion of Iris. So that way you see where their heads are at in regards to accomplishing such a ridiculous task as getting married, even though that wasn't the plan. Especially with their age difference. Declan is older, Iris is younger. And you also see her mindset on how someone can honestly wrap their head around completing such a task as marrying basically your boss, even though for years y'all have had a boss to assistant relationship. Now having to kind of put that aside and make it seem like you guys have been in love this whole time. There's a bit of I want to say dark humor in it. I mean, there's parts of the story where I giggled. I love how Lauren Asher tends to, just like the first one, this one was, I didn't have any questions. I love the how this story tends to focus on the characters, tends to focus on task at hand. Some series, when you read them, they tend to talk about so many different things happening. This tends to focus on just the task at hand. We need to be married, we need to have kids, and I like how it shows the ins and outs of what would happen if someone were put in this type of scenario on both ends. I mean, even though the person who needs to get this task done has another agenda, it kind of sheds some light on how one would go about that and have to force themselves to understand and just really kind of just put their mind on attacking that task. Whereas you see Iris' point of view, how someone who's been put in that predicament tries to handle all this new stuff and all these different levels to this, as well as trying to have, portray these certain emotions and try to withhold these certain emotions and trying to keep, you know, everyone's wants and needs into, you know, perspective. I think Lauren does an awesome job of this. Honestly, this book left me wanting more. I kind of would love to see more of what Declan and Iris gets put through in challenges, but I'm 90% sure we're going to see glimpses of them in the third one, where the third brother has to accomplish his task as well, just like we were still able to get revisited by the other brother and his beautiful wife as well. So I hope this in a way sheds some light without spoiling anything for you, to the point where you would check out both books. If not, if you've checked out the first one already and you're hesitant about this one, I would say for sure check this out. I mean, Book Talk went crazy when this one came out. I was super excited when it came out. Even though I'm just now doing the book review, I actually read this book as soon as it came out. Just took me a minute to actually sit down and review it. But I loved it. This is definitely going to be another reread for me. Especially, again, if you are planning on going to Walt Disney soon, or this summer, or this spring, or this fall, or whatever, I would say read these beforehand, because it's a good adult way, to kind of get ready for your trip, because it has that kind of Walt Disney aspect to it. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope you subscribe.